Hello everybody and welcome back to the Brightworks and another match of Beyond All Reason, where today we're taking a look at a game that was played on a map that goes by the name of The Rock. Yeah, do you smell what The Rock is cooking? Apparently today, our blue team Armada Commander going to be leading the blue team here today on this fairly uncommon map. It's not a map that pops up all the time. I was definitely eager to cast it. The commander that goes by the name of Maximus. Miximus? I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce this one. Miximus. M1 Eximus. Maybe it's Demaximus, right? There's a DE there too, so maybe it's Demiximus. The blue team Armada Commander. Going to be playing on the backline position. Actually going to be playing potentially some air here. Yeah, thinking about going into air. Needs a little bit more energy. Wind speed already quite low. We'll talk about all those details in just a second here. Our red team spawning in the water zone. Ooh. Okay, just noticed something weird, but anyways, Barf. Barf gonna be playing as the red team. I can't believe this is the first time I've ever heard someone make this joke. Barf here, the red leader, going to be playing as a Cortex commander on the naval lane. Yeah, I think what Snipe Busher is pointing out here is exactly what I just noticed. There's no Navy player for the blue team. Huh. That's odd. So, usually you would have 4 commanders here. Or no, pardon me. You would have 3 commanders here. You'd have 4 commanders here. But instead, apparently, we've forgotten about the Navy. Okay. Well, maybe I can begin to see why this why this game rather was sent on over. Why maybe this match ended up being a little bit beyond all reason. Yeah, certainly a little stranger than the norm, right? I always tend to like to cast games that kind of go across the mold, kind of break things up a little bit. Apparently this is going to be a match where one of the teams goes heavily into land, and one of them obviously has a much higher investment in the water. Okay. Well, how do you make the best out of this very strange situation? One of the best ways you can do it is just being aggressive. Just getting units out on the field, right? Because you can imagine there's 5 commanders here instead of 4. If we all put units out on the field, you're going to overwhelm the enemy with sheer force of numbers. And that's not to say that there's a difference in metal, right? Like, these commanders over here, these 3 commanders are going to have access to the same amount of metal as these 5 commanders over here. Means that with proper control, these armies might be a little more focused. It might mean that they can work together a little bit more cohesively. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Looks like we have some rovers moving around all over the place, trying to make their way around the map all over in a different direction. We do have scout planes coming across here as well. The first one was shot down, but the second one does manage to sneak into the base of Atian, the Seafoam Green commander here, and we'll also scout the base of the blue commander. That's going to be Demaxius, or Demixius, scouted here nicely by the Finch up in the air as well. Alright, well, lovely air scout right now from Carvinia, the maroon commander over here on the red side, the red team here. Yeah, okay, in the back line. Gonna be playing as some Cortex Air. That's very stock standard. That's what exactly I would expect. How do we go about this? How do we go about the fact that there's no Navy player? Snipe Busher is apparently going to be playing in the Navy here eventually, or maybe just setting up those metal extractors. The thing is, the red team has no idea. As far as their scouting has revealed, they just haven't revealed the base over here. It's not a matter of not actually finding a base over here, not actually finding any naval units. Yeah, they just think that they didn't scout the lab, but realistically, there is no lab. There are no units. I'm not sure exactly how this plays out. In one respect, those metal extractors in the high sea are uncontestable, so it does mean that there's going to be a distinct advantage here for the red commander, who just has all the room in the world to expand forward constantly. Yeah, there's nothing that the blue team can do about those metal extractors. Of course, there are options you can go for, to punish the Navy player from the land. The one that comes to mind for me immediately is ducks, right? We've seen just how devastatingly powerful those early T2 duck units can be, especially underwater against a T1 Navy. They can do brutal things. Makes me wonder if that's kind of the play here. It seems like it was definitely an accident. I think it's time for some improv. Yeah, it's time to see what these commanders can do. Improvisation on the field, trying to yes-and themselves into a victory here. Huh. Very strange. Grunts moving forward on the hot pink side, on the southern side here. Going to be continuing to step forward, and they do manage to find a constructor as well as a whole bunch of pawns. Okay. Not a bad trade right there. They managed to snipe the metal extractor. They don't get the constructor, but that's okay because they found something much better. It's the entire yellow base, and just like that, these grunts get into the backline. Now, if we pop the E-converters, the build power will explode too, but instead we'll pop nothing. And just like that, the yellow commander, Avaken, manages to deflect the attack quite nicely. Avaken Is that an actual word in German, or is that just like awaken with a German English accent? I'm not entirely sure. Ion Storm in a lot of trouble here. Uh-oh. Orange Commander without energy for D-Gun suddenly caught in a really strange situation. 3 blitzes will be the end of Ion Storm. Alright. Our 15 open skill, 3 Chevron hero from Germany. Oh, wait, that's not Germany. Wait a second. I saw these 2 flags and I was like, I'm not entirely sure then. Maybe I'm very confused. Brightworks doesn't know flags. Confirmed, yeah. Either way, doesn't really matter. That is a Orange Commander down. We also have devastating run-bys happening as well all over the place. Rover's making it into the backline. They're going to find the Constructor back here that was building wind turbines. Very annoying to lose this Constructor, of course, because it was essentially your primary AFK eco expansion. Ooh, but, well, you know, most of those going down to the wind turbine explosions right there. I think a Citizen's Arrest will work just fine. Feels like the damage is a little bit lackluster right now from the Purple Commander. Probably could have microed that a little bit better, made sure not to lose so many of those units, sniped a Constructor, and then went back into the base to kill the Metal Extractors. All said and done right now, the Orange Commander is actually not in a terrible way. Despite losing the Commander on the front, you're going up against a vehicle player, so it's going to be ages before a Constructor can waddle its way out there to eat up that wreckage. Means that you do have time to try and recuperate at the very, very least. Snipe Busher setting up more and more naval defenses here in the water. Again, a commander playing on land, but also splitting their attention to the water. Somewhat of a risky strategy. These torpedo launchers are not cheap, nearly 200 metal a pop. How are they going to fare against the frigate, assault frigate Riptides? That's what those are called. Well, in some respects, they fare quite nicely. Obviously, they're efficient. Better off if they have repair, though. Yeah, nice trading right here by the Red Commander. Taking these fights one by one, not letting both torpedo launchers fire at the same time. And it looks like, well, we will have a little bit of repair micro at the very least to try and keep some of these up and running a little while longer. And they are doing damage. I mean, considerable damage. That frigate is now on death's door. If we start trading out those frigates, this could be quite a bit worse. You know what I wouldn't mind? This is just frigates. Why not send the commander forward and go ahead and do something like a commander capture play? Something very cheeky like that. I'll bomb this, cries out the blue commander, ready to shut down Zagreus 121's facility up here. A little bit of a random LLT battle over on this side. Looks like a Wolverine will be more than sufficient to say no more to any of that. The bad guy going to be pushing on the northern side here, the green commander with a very, yeah, just a fighting words kind of a name. Medium tanks now rolling up this hillside as well to try and find some value. Geothermal, I like it, but there's so many shell shockers, so many Wolverines already. No way that's going to come up in time. Meanwhile, southern side is looking quite nice too. Atian has managed to, yeah, set up a very stalwart static defense line over here. We've got tons of LLTs. We've also got the walls to kind of cordon off any sections where those bots might try and run through here. Yeah, I don't mind this one bit. We do have an issue, though. Borg 1, the Lavender Commander, is going to need to answer this massive group of Rocketeers that's slowly pushing forward towards the base. We do have plenty of grunts to deal with this, but if we're just going to throw them away here, I'm not sure it's going to work out all too well for you. There we go. We need to take these at a better engagement, moving these around to the side. They have superior mobility, so moving them around in this direction and then attacking from this angle would have been a slightly more efficient fight. You would have lost quite a few less of these units. All said and done, though, there is just so much more metal on the field right here for Avakin rather than Borg 1. What is he going to do about it? This is lovely. I mean, the aggression is just overwhelming here. Basically just putting more mass out on the field and using it to capitalize on an early push. We managed to eat up the metal up here on the northern side. Q000 managed to eat up that metal, that is. Going to be using it to spend on static defenses rather than eco, which I think is a bit of an issue. Probably not the right decision. Going for units or going for eco, probably the right one, but static defense is all but useless at this point when you've already beaten your opponent. You either need to go kill some more bases or you need to invest in your own economy so that you can scale your economy upwards continuously. Blitz is tearing down wind turbines, though. This is a very successful run-by. Just like that, those early Blitz tanks managed to find immense value against the Orange Commander, blasting down that laboratory with the assistance of those E-converters right here. Very nicely done. Extreme value. The Frontline shell shocker, a rare sight to see indeed. Not one we see all too often, but when it does pop up, you know, you gotta love to see it. Thugs also blasting away at whatever they can. Wave 2. Something like there's 2 instances of bar running at the same time. I've done that before on accident. Tommy Turtle. Yeah, completely overwhelming the base of the Brown Commander. Lovely stuff. Shuriken over here paralyzing a couple of those, but really not getting much value yet. Zagreus completely out of energy after losing the main base right here, so that Brown Commander will fall to this little ball of medium tanks and incisors. The bad guy manages to bring down the brown guy. Yellow Commander got the kill on the Lavender Commander over here. Looks like those rocket bots found their value. Thugs now pushing forward and trying to find value against whatsoever they can. It looks like LLTs and rocket bots going to be the name of the game today. Don't think that's a bad idea here, but we need to go save our teammate. Our poor, desperate teammate up on this northern side. Borg one is in dire need of some reinforcement right here. Wouldn't mind seeing, yeah, any kind of support sent northward. Big old grunt spam wouldn't be the end of the world here, but really, frankly, Atian can afford to go for basically anything. Thugs marching forward again. They are thug walking. And dying for the most part. LLT doing a fabulous job of blasting these down. The Banshee gunship doing a less than fabulous job. And look at that. Already one of the red commanders has left the game. The orange commander taps out of the match right here. We have continuous destruction in the backline. My goodness. We need to kill that lab. There we go. Laboratory does go down. Means no more air reinforcements here as these green thugs manage to tear apart the entire base of Carvinia. I don't know what to say about that. That is the most value thugs have ever gotten, I think. As T1 skirmisher units. This entire navy held back by a single commander right here. How hilarious. You know it's a lot cheaper than destroyers and does the same job? 10 missile boats. Yeah, or 5 missile boats, I guess, is about the same cost as a destroyer. And it'll do the same job, but obviously, you know, they can do that job quite a bit better because you can split fire them. So the commander can only repair one of them, right? So if you have them firing on multiple different things all at once, you're going to be in a decent position. Either way, it doesn't really matter, though. This is just static defense. I don't think the red commander has really leaned into the fact that that's actually what's going on here. Units for the green commander appear to be stalled in the backline. Looks like we're going to be going up to T2. Yeah, indeed. We have T2 already up and running right now for the powder blue commander. Decided to go ahead and go for some tech. Bombers come out now to try and push back some of the rocket bots over on the northern side of the southern side. Armada bombers. Yeah, not good. Not good. Threatening, maybe. They might look scary, but really they don't do that much, all said and done. Coastal torpedo launchers, though, the Anemone stinging away at a bunch of these coastal, or these assault frigates. Destroyer also moving forward, yeah. Finally pulling the trigger, only to realize, hey, wait a second, I actually haven't been fighting a navy this entire time. A little bit of a pause right there, but it looks like, yeah, going to be a couple more players tapping out from the red team. And this overwhelming, dominant push on the northern side. Q000 going on a tear right here. There's a geothermal and some wind turbines up and running. I would love to see a cloak and capture. Yeah, if you could go capture that geothermal, that would be a wonderful boon. You can see the Cyan Commander stalling for energy right now, actually. It costs 0 zip, zilch, and nada to actually capture something. Means that it's well worth it in case you're ever in a situation where you, yeah, find your commander within range of enemy units. Go ahead and go for a capture command. Might save you quite a lot of trouble. Medium tanks rolling through the static defenses. My goodness, not a care in the world for those brutes as they stampede their way across the battlefield right now. Nothing really to clean these tanks up. We had amphibious tanks coming. Looks like we were preparing some sort of amphibious assault that actually ended up not really using them at all. Ducks waddling out of the lab. Yeah, okay, so Snape Busher, you know what I can appreciate is that there was a vision here. We had a plan, and the plan was to essentially go up straight up to T2 and go for a big old, good old-fashioned duck walk. A vacant here, overwhelming the base right now of the Lavender Commander. Means that, of course, all that juicy metal will be going back to that commander as well. Gunships trying to deal with pawns that are running by right here. Maximus setting up some static defenses. Still, though, the Seafoam Green Commander Atian has actually cut off the reinforcements quite nicely. Huh. In a weird turn of events, the Yellow Commander is now completely cut off from their base without really any way to access their base anymore. Suddenly, reinforcements are going to be completely devoid. We could, of course, go for a forward laboratory, get those units pumped out once more. Can't help but think that the Yellow Commander is a little bit overextended here, though. Banshees to shoot down the Commander. You know what? It works. Just like that, awakens Commander. The Yellow Commander blasted to smithereens by a couple of Banshee. Now, I won't lie. The Stormbringer got some damage in there, too. They certainly helped out. But, yeah, Banshee managing to take the kill right there on the Yellow Commander. What a strange one. Looks like, oh, yeah, looks like Q000's Commander did manage to retreat back to safety. Thug's doing a fabulous job of holding the lines here. Now that we have such a stellar economy, though, I can't help but wonder if it's time to go for T2. We did have T2 constructed over here. Those T2 mexes are coming up slowly but surely. We need more energy production desperately. The entire team does. That wind speed's actually pretty good. I'm surprised we don't see more wind turbines. Certainly the Green Commander, the bad guy, is taking well advantage of those wind turbines, but everybody else appears to be a little bit energy stalled right now on the blue team. There go the Thugs, marching forward. Catching the yellow player at a critical timing. Wonderful play right here. Yeah. Figuring out that there's a T2 lab coming up and running and pushing in while the T2 is coming up means that there's no metal to produce reinforcements, to produce defenses. And just like that, the Thugs managed to jump on top of the base right here of the Yellow Commander. Why aren't we targeting the build power of these massive chain reactable wind turbines? Questions I'll never have a true and satisfying answer to. All these wind turbines were chain reactable. The E-converters, of course, are targetable, and so you can pop those to kill the build power back here. Slight micro mistakes, and those can add up over time. On the back of a relatively successful push, though, not necessarily the end of the world. Constructor reclaiming its metal's worth of value. Its value's worth of metal. Got that sentence all backwards, turned upside down and around. Tommy Turtle now building medium tanks. Yeah, just good old-fashioned medium tank spam. You know what's great at choke points, though? Janus tanks. Yeah, a couple of Janus tanks would be wonderful for stalling out these medium tanks. Shutting them down, of course, because of how much damage they do, but also just making sure that they don't have the speed to actually push forward. Well, I'm glad to see some sort of a response at the very least. Yeah, Tommy Turtle trying to set up some sort of defense. The Purple Commander has thrown in the towel. Decided to tap out of this game. Means it's an idle commander. A commander devoid of brains will go down right here in the middle of this ball of units. At the very least, killing a whole bunch of those thugs. Or brutes, rather. Reducing some of the workload that the blue team has to do in the front line for their teammate who has been devastated. Snipe Busher finally takes the commander. A little bit late on the draw there. Yeah. Commander has been AFK for a good long while here, but at the very least, somebody is going to take control of all that. Blue Commander having a panic about it. Atian single-handedly holding this front line and doing a phenomenal job of it, might I add. The graveyard here is immense. What a wild graveyard of pawns sprinting to their doom. I mean, pawns and grunts, I guess. It's all... they're all meeting in the middle there for some reason. Jammer's up on this high ground, preventing this gauntlet from firing away is very cool. Obviously, Gauntlet in its high arc mode would be able to fire up the hill and over towards those, but in its low arc mode, not going to be able to find much value. More and more ducks being built up right now. Okay. I don't hate it. I really don't. We just need to put a hole, we need to plug the hole right here that is the midsection of this map that the Red Commander has just been spamming tanks through. And if we can do that, I think this is going to be a fabulous position. Yeah. In a very bizarre turn of events, we've ended up back in a 3v3 here. I guess it's really more of like a 3v2. Bull, by the way, killing the commander. I don't think single-handedly, but very close to it. At the very least, it's the only survivor of the war. Just like that, manages to plow through all of these units and the static defenses. It's heavy impact guns. Devastating these T1 bots. Finds the bot lab right here and is going to start blasting away at it. Not the end of the world, I feel. Yeah, those bot labs are well worth taking down, especially if you can do it fairly efficiently. Bombers coming across these naval units over here as well. Oh, no. The red team has continuously donated so much metal in the form of medium tanks right here that I feel like finally the difference has been made up. If we look at the energy per second right here, you can see the blue team is producing vastly more. They've taken way less damage to their energy production economies. And as far as metal production goes, it's also in the favor of the blue team as they start to reclaim all of these wreckage fields. Metal produced is basically neck and neck, 172 versus 172. Energy produced is a little in favor of the red team, but not by much. The army value right here, slightly higher for the blue team on average in general. Obviously, that's not every commander, it's just on average, and most of the commanders, adding up all the commanders. And the defense value, about even there as well. Less than 10% on the defense value is not necessarily the biggest deal. I mean, it's so much reclaim. Hold on, let me take a look right here. Nearly, yeah, 5,000 metal worth of reclaim right now for the lime green commander. More than enough to start going into T2. Surprised that we're going for T1 medium tanks at this point. Feels like we're spending metal just to spend metal, but there's certainly more efficient use cases. Are we going to send the ducks anytime soon? I would hope so. Snipe Bush are now building up a massive force of ducks. 18 ducks in total, and continuing to grow. Obviously wants to use them in one fell swoop to shut down as much as possible, but my goodness, the time is nigh. Single Hero Bull has taken out the entirety of the pink base right here. Will eventually return home for some well-needed R&R, rest and repairs. Tsar tanks now rolling out on the field. The red commander trying desperately to hold this entire northern section. Holding the naval section, holding the northern section, holding it all at the same time. Definitely a tremendous APM tax right here on the red commander. Atian trying desperately to hold this as well. Sheldon being overran slightly by the pawn coming out. Only slightly, though. Gunslingers are a weird choice. I say that. Sorry, taking a sip of my water. Lubricating the old throat muscles. I say that. These gunslingers have gotten tremendous value. Right here is exactly the moment you can see where they begin to fall off, and they fall off like a cliff. They don't line up very well against those Sheldon at all. Yeah. Still though, Lime Green Commander or Cyan, or, pardon me, sorry. Seafoam Green Commander goes down. Getting all my words twisted up today. Spent the first half of the day commentating some of the games for the Bar Pro League. That was an absolute treat. Very, very fun time indeed. Definitely recommend go checking out their Twitch. I believe they'll probably have everything saved as a VOD, so you can go enjoy it in your own time. Very cool stuff going on over there. That's on the official Beyond a Reason Twitch, by the way. Not hard to find. I love this point in the game where the spam makes it into the main base. Spam makes it into the main base and then no longer gets microed at all. Always a treat. Hound's finding a little bit of value, popping some construction turrets, but I think the Fiends will be more than enough to clean all this up. If the Pink Commander were to move their units, they would win this very easily. Nuclear Bombers coming in. Ooh, Nuclear Bomber connects with the Commander. Very nicely done. Anti-air flak trucks will kill that Commander, and it looks like they're going to keep on keeping on. Those, wow. That is a massive swarm of Roughnecks headed out right now. Or are we going to prioritize? Oh, we're just going to go after the lab. Okay. Not the end of the world. Those flak trucks obviously hurt, but there's only so much they can do. Those Roughnecks are actually quite tanky. And you can see taking quite a few shots before it actually will go down. Yeah, there's so much eco back here to shut down. Okay. The micro there slipping ever so slightly for the blue commander. Not the end of the world, but ever so slightly could have been better. Anti-air now coming out in mass. The E-converters chain reacting into each other means that all of the metal production right here for the red commander falls, save for a few of those lowly T2 metal extractors, those small and desperate T2 metal extractors. Roughneck in the air to shoot down the shoot down the hounds over here. Mass Roughneck, who knew? Not bad actually. The Roughneck, one of the more powerful gunships in the game. I would say it's more powerful. Well, I don't know if it's more powerful than the Wasp. The Wasp certainly has its value as a AoE clear. It can deal with spams of units quite effectively. Something the Roughneck doesn't do very well. Maybe actually the worst gunship, now that I think about it. I'm going through my head of all the gunships and all the factions, and I think the Roughneck might be the worst one. At least the worst T2 one. How about 40 ducks in your backline? Finally, the ducks have finally popped their heads out on the other side of the map. 22 of them, but that's, you know, after a couple of them have fallen. And just like that, those wind turbines that could have been chain reacted earlier into this match do eventually, finally go down. Yellow Commander left without power, and the ducks continuing to waddle forward. Against basically any T2, I would favor, well, whatever it is against the ducks. In this situation, though, against the T1 span, the ducks are going to be perfectly sufficient. Mr. Pint is revealed right here. That's a commander. Spreading out those ducks to cost as much as possible to D-gun down, but it won't matter as the pink commander falls, leaving behind a smoking corpse. And this back and forth match, my goodness. The red team continually trying to push forward right here. We do have anti-air units, which is always nice. We have bulls rushing their way up this hillside as well. Trying to do whatever they can, these bulls. They're remnants of an army from the northern segment, northern segment of the map. Not nearly enough build power or metal to go into this thing. We need way more E-converters here for the Cyan Commander Q000. Medium tanks now ravaging the economies right here of the red team. This Geo, by the way, has stayed up and running the entire time. That's a hero Geo. Producing a whopping 300 metal per second, or 300 energy per second for its team. Oh, oh! I am under the water. Please help me, I am under the water. Does anybody know what I'm quoting, or do I just sound horribly racist? I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, that's a medium tank going for a swim right there. There's something you don't see every day. Whole bunch of bombers. Whoa, that wasn't angled. Whole bunch of bombers moving out now. Where are they going? Oh no. Bombers targeting this T1 metal extractor? Not sure what these bombers are targeting whatsoever. There they go. I mean, I guess they latch onto the heavy laser tower. That's nicer. The micro on the bombers definitely doesn't feel pristine. A little lackluster, to say the very least. Long-range anti-air towers set up here as well, so at the very least, yeah, you know, you send some bombers or whatever, they're gonna get shot. Guys, I killed everyone's eco. Please tell me you're winning this. I think that one bull tank did more damage than any of the Roughnecks did. Still, though, yeah, there's no reason why these tanks shouldn't be moving across. There is a land bridge. Oh, is there a land bridge right there? Oh, actually, I might be mistaken. There is not a land bridge right there. So these commanders completely separated. I think there's one right here, though. Yeah, it looks like there's a bridge right here. These commanders could send the tanks like this and go into the base and win the game. It looks like eventually we're planning to do that. Eventually being the key word. I'm going to go ahead and speed this game up. As we approach our end here with the blue team pulling ahead in the economic division after shutting down metal extractor after metal extractor. Now moving forward to claim all of them and upgrade them all to T2. Fire turrets blasting down at whatever they can, but my goodness, what a beautiful defensive setup we've got right here. The heavy bombers coming in to try and help alleviate some of this pork. Still only having so much of an effect. Tearing down the base one blast at a time. The red commander's last constructor goes down. Means that the destroyer and the duck here will be all that it needs, or all that it takes to take this base apart. Still a big fortified setup over here. This is just T1 though. There's a gauntlet, there's light laser towers, there's heavy laser towers. None of it has energy though after the yellow commander's tragic destruction. Trying desperately to get that advanced solar panel back up and online. E-stalling horrendously here. Needs energy from a teammate. It's at this point you start asking for solar panels or wind turbines from your bestest friends. I think the blue team has thoroughly secured this game. It would be bizarre to me if they managed to throw this game out the window. Looking for every opportunity to rebuild back into this match. Aircon's handed over here to the Cyan, or the Seafoam Green Commander, pardon me. I like it quite a lot, obviously. These air constructors are mobile enough that they can do enough, but when you share plenty of them, they can get bases up and running in a decent amount of time. Gunships now headed across the map. Counter Roughnecks to counter the blue Roughnecks. The thing is, there are T2 fighters, and as soon as those T2 fighters lock onto all this, or even the light anti-air on those Jaguars, these are toast. Yeah, no fighter escort, and there they go. In just an instant, those managed to all go down. Big old Shiva bundle has been saved up right here by the Powder Blue Commander. Lovely stuff from Snipe Busher. Has realized, hey, wait a second, I have all the comfort in the world right now. I may as well go ahead and go for a little eco and go for a little bit of T3 nonsense. Anti-air bots get shot down here as well. About, yeah, a minute and a half too late. Oh, pardon me, didn't mean to pause the game, meant to slow it down. Pawn sprinting forward over here on this right-hand side, completely ignoring the base of the Seafoam Green Commander, Atian. Again with the spam that's just completely overlooking. Oh, don't tell me. Oh, don't tell me. Okay, well, luckily for the Blue Commander, these pawns are moving on. Probably one of the most efficient trades those pawns could have taken right there is just stopping to kill the nuclear bomber. Heavy tanks now rolling out. Here come the Shiva, though. Waddling their way under the sea. Is there a... Oh, it looks like there's a green unit right here, but I actually can't see it. Anywho. Wow. Bulls actually lose this fight over on this side. Beamer turrets and lightning turrets OP, apparently. Rattlesnake firing away at whatever it can as well. Oh, looks like the Shiva have been detected. Not bad. One thing that I love when the Shiva make their way out of the water is that they all fire their missile. So you're going to see they all open up their hatches here and fire their missiles in just a second. There they go. It means that when they pop out, they usually have enough concentrated firepower to take out whatever structure they happen to be all targeting. In this case, they all happen to be targeting a structure that's dead already. One of the problems with the Shiva, of course, is that it's a siege mech, but it has just as good of odds of destroying whatever it's shooting at as it does destroying it with its missiles, so sometimes they waste those missiles a little bit carelessly. Beautiful Shiva play here, though. Wonderful, wonderful sweep from the Shiva, popping up in the enemy backline and devastating every shred of economy that existed right here for the Pink Commander. Blabar, the hot Pink Commander, now in a load of trouble, as the only thing that stands between them and complete oblivion is their teammates' dead and dying base. Not a good situation to be in. No, not at all. Red team tapping out of this game one by one as the Shiva march forward. They need only connect once or twice with some of those E-converters. Ooh, killer D-guns, though, from the hot Pink Commander. Nicely done. Manages to blast down a whole bunch of those Shiva. Actually, all the Shiva, but not before the Roughnecks make it in. There they go. Switching targets here and realizing they may as well just pop some of the economy. E-converters chain react means that a bunch of the build power goes down, and now this APHIS is in a whole world of trouble. Boom goes the APHIS right there for the hot Pink Commander, and indeed the last commander for the red team. What a funky strategy that actually ended up working. I think the red commander probably should have tried to take advantage of that open lane a little bit earlier on, but didn't manage to. And so it'll be the blue team that takes victory in this game beyond all reason. Thanks a ton for watching. If you can hear, I'm feeling a little congested, so it might be catching something. Hopefully it doesn't interrupt me. But in case you don't hear anything from me for a while, that could be the reason why. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, though, and I will see you in the very next cast, whenever that so happens to be, right here on the Brightworks. Peace out, everybody, and have a fabulous rest of your day.